Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to the American Scouser post-match show. Liverpool 5, West Ham United 1. I don't know if I'm watching the same match from last season or whatever. That was this year, right? 2024 as well, I believe. And same venue,
No, it's last
same result.
December.
Sorry?
It was December,
It was
yeah.
December
Yeah.
last year.
Oh, with December. Well, pretty close, but it still felt like deja vu there with how much we dominated the game. And as always, it's me, John, here hosting midweek with my favorite post-match crew. If we're basing it off of last week's man of the match choices, Brian is here recovering, thankfully, from his surgery last weekend, last Monday. I'm sorry,
Monday, this past
last
Monday.
Monday. So good to see you, Brian. How are you doing? And how did you find that match?
Doing good right there. I felt the match right there. It was the first half was a little shaky right there, and I think I get miscommunication between people who really don't play with each other that much on the pitch.
Right.
Second half right there was pretty free flowing. Especially the game just opened up for us and all that. But enjoyable. Good. It's good to have a win, and hopefully we get like a bunk side right there on for the next round, so
Right.
that we can let these kids just like kids play, because too many matches, way too many matches.
For all those who are watching, the draw is actually going on as we speak. So hopefully we'll be able to last as long to see who we're going to be going up against. Cersei, I am sure that first goal was not good in terms of the health perspective. But obviously we managed to score 5 unanswered after that. So if you're looking at that performance as a whole, obviously we gave up the first goal, but even before we gave up that first goal, it looked like we were really going through the gears there in terms of getting our flow in and in terms of trying to build out from the back positively and getting a goal. So I guess my question is, obviously, all things considered, how worried were you about like the entire game when we conceded that first goal? Were you worried at all, or did you feel like with how good we were playing even before we conceded it that, we still got this, if that makes sense?
No, I wasn't worried. One, because it was the Mickey Mouse Cup. It's Mickey Mouse Cup, regardless of what we
Right.
really want to, So I wasn't bothered. And then we weren't getting like pressured. It wasn't like it was just going one way and like, So with that, with no jeopardy, I was would come back. We just given our bench and the players on there, even if we had to rely on them, I knew we'd come back and win this game. So I wasn't. It was one of them games I wasn't nervous about going into, and I didn't, don't mind losing one way or the other. If we went to extra time, then I'd be a little bit more pleased, I guess. But no, it was, it just showed that our strength on the bench is still, can probably beat any other team. Well, most of the teams in the league, given the players that we played today.
Absolutely. And that starting 11, Brian, was pretty much our, I wouldn't say B team because of the quality that we had there in terms, especially in our attack. And let me actually bring up the numbers here. And obviously this is from FOTMob, so you could take it with a grain of salt. But obviously throughout our attacking line over there, some pretty good performances. 2 goals from Jota, 2 goals from Gakpo, who was my personal man of the match. But obviously, Brian, looking at this team, pretty much you couldn't necessarily single out a player who performed badly, but in terms of of a night of good performance, filled with good performances, who in particular stood out to you? Although I think we know the obvious answer.
I mean, I really think the Indo actually had a really good match right there. I mean, I watched him on the pitch, because we've had his couple of matches that he had under the slot area right there have been kind of shaky, but he actually was pretty good. I thought Curtis Jones looked pretty decent. I mean, through there, but obviously, I think I think that Jota was probably just doing Jota stuff like that through that match and all that. But Chiesa looked good. I mean, it's really hard to go out there to find like a player right there that you can pinpoint, because even the own goal on Kwanzaa wasn't really. It was just it was a group event. It wasn't anything that you can say you can actually blame on anybody right there. It was him being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It was that classic Carragher own goal type of shit, that happened right there. So. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I think if I had to go one player right there that that kind of that was a little bit below the par right there, it's probably Simicast right there, because there was some Simicast stuff I saw in there. I mean, especially with giving away the ball and just some of the decision making with there was a little bad. I mean, I think there's one of those corners he took was like so out wide on it. I was like, I know I said on Discord, what the hell was that? So, but yeah, although I can't really complain very much with a 5-1 win.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
That's for sure. Like at this point, if we're trying to single out a performance as we come off as nitpicky, which we're not at American Scouts, mind you, people, we're not nitpicky. We're actually very objective, I'd like to believe. Saidu says, a fantastic comeback, well played. For 8 years, Gomez can't make an accurate pass yet. He needs to go. It's a little bit harsh, Saidu. Like,
That's harsh.
I thought Gomez was pretty okay considering he hasn't really played. He's played a grand total of 5 minutes of football this year, Cersei, probably around that amount. Obviously, he came in, out from the cold, started, captain the side. But to my question for Brian, who do you have here as your probably standout player? And for the record, I would say mine is Cody Gakpo. Just looked very imperious there on that left wing. And he gives Slot a problem, but the best kind of problem. But over to you, Cersei. Who do you feel is But who do you have as your man of the match here?
No, I mean, you can't really look past Gakpo, can you? He was immense tonight, and like I said, it's good problem to have. It's him or Diaz. It's just I wouldn't want to be the manager. I don't know which one you'd pick to try and keep happy, because neither one of them are putting your foot wrong. So I wouldn't know. It was just a good. I don't even think we really came out of third gear. Really. When we even got a goal behind, we didn't panic. We didn't, like I said, there was no jeopardy online. I mean, we just knew that we were going to come out and just win this game. And there was good performances of people, of our players. Brian was saying Endo had a good game. Kwanzaa, it wasn't his fault for the own goal. It was just in the wrong place. The ball just bounced off his leg. Good Gomez for a good shift. I think Bradley starting some question marks, like starting to creep in. Really, like given the last game that he played, and he was getting outrun by Somerville a lot today. But given all that, like everyone played well. And then, but saying that, really, apart from Gakpo, obviously putting Jota and Nunes aside, apart from Gakpo, I don't think any of them actually break into that first team that we've used to for the first 5 league games. And I think that's testimony to the team, really, or the squad.
Yeah, and that's kind of it's kind of what I've been thinking as well. It's good that you pointed that out, Cersei. Well, no one has really sort of kind of been exceptional at that 9 role, Brian. Obviously, Nunez scored that banger last weekend, but obviously I'm not trying to fault the guy, but then this wasn't necessarily his most standout performance as well. Jota, despite the 2 goals, there were times where I forgot he was playing, honestly, but then it's the most Diogo Jota thing to forget that he was playing, and then he pops up with 2 goals. So that is kind of the conundrum this weekend against Wolves, on who would be starting at that 9 role, leading the line. Putting things into perspective, Brian, taking all things into consideration, between the 2, who do you feel like edges it out for this weekend against Wolves? Obviously, you feel like you can't go wrong at this point because Jota scored 2 goals here. Nunez scored that banger last year. But just in your opinion, who do you feel like has the edge right now?
I mean, with the current condition of Wolves right now, I mean, I think either one right there would probably be fine right there, because there's some serious issues there. But if I had to go there, pick between the 2 right there, it'd probably be Jota at the moment, just because of creativity work and work that goes behind there. But I'd like to go there and see. I'd see more from him, but I think Diaz right now is obviously our weapon at the moment. I mean, it's like Jota's kind of more or less like a dummy 9, almost in a way right there, where he's making the runs, but Diaz is making the plays. So I mean, so it's kind of like a weird it's like a weird pseudo Bobby Mane kind of situation right there. When Mane wasn't on form, I mean, when Bobby wasn't on form, when Mane was on form. It was like they meshed well like that, and it's kind of like the same exact situation, But I do think that looking down the line of there, we may have to go and look down toward another number 9 for that rotation right there, just to keep it fresh. I mean, because I know Mo can play that position. I know Chiesa can play that position, but they're not a natural number 9. So I think that we looking at a player that's in the right price range, because obviously we're dealing with the penny pinchers. So that will basically go there and will complement our side. But right now, I'm saying Jota right now, probably if we're against Wolves.
Yeah, for me, and obviously, please don't take this out of context of me hating Darwin or anything. Jota just edges it just a little tiny bit for me. Although Darwin's, hasn't necessarily put a foot wrong during his time coming in, as of the last 2 games. Gordo is here. Great win, boys. Hope your tattoo is going well. Hope tattoo appointment is going well, my friend. I'm assuming it's probably done because you're messaging us here in the comment section. He also says, love how we navigated that second half. Put idiots like me saying we put depth to shame. And speaking of that depth, Serzi, and I'll actually put you on the spot here. Cody Gakpo, since he's actually started games and finished the full 90 of each game, it's small sample size, 2 games, right? But arguably the man of the match against Milan, man of the match here without a doubt. Who start? Let's say we're having the biggest game of the season on Saturday, right? Let's say it's against the Man City, right? Who do you have? And obviously that speaks to the testament of those. That's a testament to the quality of those players. But it's really so difficult if you're Arne Slot to actually pick who's going to be starting, isn't it?
No, I play Diaz all day long. The form is in. The form that Walker is in. Diaz stepped up notches this season, and that being said, if Diaz plays, I'd play Nunes. I think Nunes plays better than Diaz. So now I'll rest Gakpo for Saturday, playing in the Champions League. Yeah, I think Jota coming off early may have shown Slot's hand for Saturday.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I just feel like Diaz and Nunes is a better combo than Jota and Diaz, and I think Jota play better on the flip side together. But yeah, Diaz, he's undroppable in terms of and that's probably why he's rested today. He is undroppable in terms of league. I don't think any defense out there right now containing.
Right, absolutely. No one would want to face a kind of Diaz that's in form, Brian. And I believe I saw this stat earlier this week where he scored 8 goals last year in the league, and he has 5 now, and it's not even been 10 games. So I get Serzi's point that probably Luis Diaz is the man to ride now. But in your opinion, is it a question, or you're with him and saying that it's undoubtedly Diaz?
It's undoubtedly Diaz right there, and I'm gonna say I was severely wrong about Diaz right there, because I wanted to admit my fault on it, that I say that I didn't think that Diaz was going to work. It was going to work with this system.
Right.
Diaz has prospered in this system right there. I mean, he's actually, his production is so much better. And I think and so I'm glad I was wrong, because I think that, and I hope that we wrap up a new deal for Diaz right there and keep him here for a while, because I think that his work rate is just fantastic. I mean, he's got an eye on goal. I mean, everything's working out perfectly right now with him with the club.
And let me actually bring this up here. Some stats. Salah with 8 goals, assists so far. Diaz with 6. Jota with 4. Gakpo with 3. Nunez with 2. And Chiesa with 1. Serzi, is it a stretch to say that this is the best attacking depth we've had in forever? Because obviously you've watched the club a long time, but what do you make of this attacking depth? Obviously we're looking to get into multiple competitions, deep into multiple competitions. How much of an advantage does this give? Look at those numbers, right?
Yeah, and this is huge. Obviously I followed Liverpool from the 80s, and when we had Aldridge and Rush together, it was like, oh wow, we got Aldridge coming on the bench. And that was when we were only 2 subs in the game. But this, six world-class attackers. Who has that? And when you think when you had Mane, Bobby, and Salah, and like we were kind of victims
Yeah.
for our own success because couldn't attract the players that might have been available because there's no way they were going to break that free. And
Right.
you had to be stupid to even try and break that free up. But this, barring Salah and Diaz so far, who are the two undroppables, we can pretty much rotate, and you can rotate within the game. So even if you take Diaz off and you see Gakpo coming on, it's like shit. Or you take Nunes off and Jota comes on, or vice versa. It's an amazing problem to have.
Absolutely amazing. And Brian, let me actually focus here on someone that we've looked to see a bit more. Curtis Jones started off on the left side of that pivot, and I think moved to the 10. I'm not sure because him and McAllister interchanged quite a bit when he came in, and they combined very well. So I guess how big of a step is this for Curtis Jones, which he put in a pretty solid 8 out of 10 performance for me. Obviously, he had to grow into the game, gave away like a ball or two at the start, but then it's pretty much understandable because, as you mentioned, this is like the first time these guys have actually played with each other, so that we can excuse that. But as the game grew on, he got that assist for Jota, look more secure in the ball. Like, how big is it, to have a Jones that is full of confidence and just ready to step in when he's called upon, considering how thin we are in that particular position?
He needed the 90 minutes. He really needed that 90 minutes right there to play.
Yeah.
I mean, he's was struggling right there. He had that little bit of knock right there that happened. I mean, it was. I think having him confident and having him get into the mix right there is only going to make us better, especially with matches we have. I mean, even we're getting into like the Champions League thing that we're having right there. I mean, against if we start playing like these like the pot 4 teams and all that, these are players right here that we can actually utilize right there and play. Plus, if we want to go further right there with the League Cup, and I mean that's a match for him. But also right there, even matches like
Man City. Sorry, Spurs history, Man City. Spurs got Man City.
Oh, that is nice. That is nice.
Wow, that's a damaged Man City, so it might be good for Spurs. But yeah, I mean, it's good right there for. I mean, it's good to have this many players for competition right there. I do think that we're still, like you said, we're still short. At least losing Harvey has been pretty hefty. I think that, and I don't see us getting Harvey back to good fitness and stuff like that to probably the first of the year. I mean, because it's going to take a while for him to get work back into the system and all that, and get back into fitness. And you're probably going to wind up seeing people like Piling and Morton and these guys right there making these appearances, this League Cup right there to fill the numbers.
For sure. Serzi, look, these numbers here: 7 games played, 6 wins. Obviously, we do have to kind of count that Forest disappointment, even though as much as we know that it's somewhat of a fluke so far. But 18 goals scored and 3 goals conceded from the first 7 games. Do you see this team and see? Okay, so when you think about this team as a whole, do you see a team that can go all the way in certain competitions, or do you see a team that can possibly go but is missing that 1 or 2 pieces? Like, what do you feel so far? Because it's been a great start. You probably can't ask much more.
Hey, Mr. Brighton.
We got Brighton on the way.
All right, let's forget what I asked. Let's forget what I asked, Rizzy. What do you think about the draw? What do you think about that draw?
I think it's there for us. Well, Brighton are playing well. I really don't for anyone. Actually, the only team I do fear in this competition is Man United because they're just the type of bastards that will try and just tell us one or the other. But other than that, no, I don't. I don't mind that draw. It's a good draw. I mean, I'd rather play and then Spurs, I guess.
Right.
Villa have got Palace, so there's a lot of Premier League teams facing off each other. But yeah, I think the draw is okay. City will probably get Preston. Oh no, sorry, they've got Spurs actually. Sorry, you know what I just said. Newcastle playing Chelsea.
Oh,
because of
that's
Wimbledon.
nice. That's nice too, because
Yeah.
like Chelsea have kind of been on it, right? So they're possibly a threat in this competition too, at least from in my opinion. Brian, your thoughts on the draw? Brighton away.
I mean, but I'm not afraid of really anybody at the moment, right there. I think that I mean they're going to be doing the same thing we're going to be doing. They're going to rotate their sides right there because of the amount of fixtures that they have. Because aren't they still Europa League? I think too, or conference. They have something. I think that they're in, aren't they?
No, I don't think they're in.
They're not in. Okay, well then,
no.
I mean, Matoma right there is probably the biggest threat with that side right there to me. Right there, I mean, I think he's a pretty brilliant player. I mean, so I mean, other than that right there, I mean, take them as they come. I mean, you got to beat everybody to go there to win.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the right mentality to have, Sergi. And let me actually go back to that question that I asked you. And let me actually rephrase it now. And I remember Kazi dropped the point in before we were on our way out last show. With Rodri's injury, obviously, is massive for Man City. And that kind of makes them as vulnerable as that heavily stacked Man City side can be, right? Because they still have a lot of great players, but it's just that Rodri is the anchor of that team. But obviously, considering the fact that they're a little vulnerable, Arsenal's missing Odegaard for quite a bit of time. Is this focus on the League Cup a little misplaced in your opinion? Should we be focusing our resources more on the league or on the Champions League? And obviously, we'd want to win every competition, right? That's a given. But then considering the opportunity we have here, there can be more merit, right, in terms of focusing our resources in the league or the Champions League. But what do you think in terms of like the landscape of this season?
But if you look at the players that we played today, really, who gets into the first team? So given the quality of our depth in squad, I'd rather these players need games.
Right.
Any other team, they get into the first team. So, why not play them in these games and try and earn the spot? So I don't think it's misplaced. I think it's worked out great for us that we have a squad like this that we can play in the EFL rather than kids, because these players are sitting on the bench and need games as well. So no, I think it's great. Given the Rodri situation, it echoes that season where Laporte was injured for the whole season and, it completely dismantled City's season. And what I like about it is that the media are jumping on Arsenal, saying that it's Arsenal that are going to take advantage. So as we go under the radar, we just keep doing our thing and then just win that league. I've got a good feeling about this season. So, we haven't had to make wholesale changes. We got unlucky last season at March where all our players decided they were going to catch the injury virus. And I think the way Slots set up our training regime, the fact that Konate and Jota can be more 2 games in a row is kind of testament to our training regime. I mean, Konate, for 4 seasons now, 3-4 seasons, like we, to see him like play 4 games in a row and 2 internationals, it's wow. And even Jota as well, So obviously we're doing something right in the, in the training practices. So yeah, I mean, Rodri being injured, and I know everyone's like, well, we don't want to see players injured. I don't care. If when Dijk got injured, no one cared. No one cared. Everyone gets injured, and everyone laughed at us. And then we had Matic get injured, and then Trent got injured, and then we were playing Fabinho and Henderson in central defense, and everyone just laughed at us. No, Rodri can be injured, KDB can be injured, Pep can be injured. I don't care. It's not our problem. All we can do is just beat the teams in front of us and win. Like, it's not going to, if we win the league, it's not going to be, well, we won the league because Rodri was injured for the season. No, we won it because we beat the teams in front of us.
Absolutely. And that's very beautifully put, Brian, in terms of just, playing every game, right, with the desire to win, just like a true sportsman, right? We're not trying to give away any competitions here and there. Obviously, from the logical perspective, some you might kind of teeter on like, hey, maybe this competition isn't what matters, but it would be a massive success, right? Because I believe it took 4 seasons for Klopp to get his first major trophy, which was the Champions League. If we somehow manage to pull a cup or two, like the FA Cup or even the League Cup, or God forbid, the Champions League, like this season, like it's pretty much on the cards, isn't it? Like considering the positive start and the amount of good players we know we have on this squad.
Success equals winning silverware. I mean, that's all it is right there. Success means equal silverware. You go into every competition to win competitions right there. I mean, you don't. I mean, you do your resources right there, and you allocate your resources the right way. But ultimately, right there, you want to succeed. So if the League Cup's there, yes, I want to win it. If the FA Cup's there, yes, I want to win it. Champions League, yes, I want to win it. Premiership, yes, I want to win it. I mean, World Club Cup, whatever the hell it is right there. Yeah, I want to win all of them right there. I want to win everything in front of us. But I mean, and so it's important right there. We have enough depth of players. I mean, I know we talked about our midfield with the things that we need and things that we possibly need up front. But there's enough players right there that we can rotate through to make a successful side to compete with anybody. I mean, even up front right there. I mean, you have Dan's right there who could come good right there. You have all these players that you can put in the mix right there for up front. Midfield, you have Morton. You have other guys on the fringe right there that can play. You have players in the you have our defense right there. So we have the depth right there to compete. It's just putting those tools to use. But I want to kind of go off of what Sir Z said about their training out there. And the big difference I'm seeing with the side is I think that with Pep's training methods that he had last year, triple training sessions and things like that. I think we ran these players to death, and I think that's what. And 100%. Now we're seeing, and I think what we're seeing now is we're seeing a little bit more relaxation, and we're seeing these players being able to recoup and let their bodies go in there and actually heal. I mean, before they play matches. I mean, they're having training sessions before matches. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, but it's all a different mentality right there. The Dutch is a little bit a different style of doing things, and I'm very welcoming to this, to how this is. My heart welcomes it too, right there, because I don't have injuries every single time we turn around.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily fixing a broken product, it's tweaking it to be better in the case of our side here, which is always great. By the way, guys, for the record, that Brighton tie, we're going to be seeing them twice in the span of 4 days. Because I just read that it's going to be happening within the dates of either October 29th or 30th, and that's in between our away trip against Arsenal and our home match against Brighton. So it's going to happen midweek between that. So we're going to be playing Brighton twice in the span of 4 days. So fun, right? And obviously, it was great to watch this. There will be tougher tests for sure. Serzi, let me actually ask you here. And I believe this was mentioned in one of the morning shows. I forget what. But would you be content with top 4 in the League Cup like we did last year? Let's say we match last year, right? 3rd in the League Cup. Would you be happy about that?
I wouldn't be happy because it means it's improved. I mean, winning is the best habit you can have. Brian was saying, like, whatever competition you're in, you got to win it. We can't be embarrassed to win. As long as we don't have a parade for winning a League Cup or an FA Cup or finishing 4th, but it's if we don't come minimum 2nd, I'll be disappointed.
Really?
Yeah, because given the players that we have, and we thought we were going to do the quad last season, and I think it's mainly because of the injuries that killed us. We didn't need to make wholesale changes, and we've changed the system. And apart from Silva, I mean, even then, I'd be given stick. But I mean, he's played okay. I mean, we've only lost one game. We've only lost, points that we dropped. It was 1 loss. So no, I'll be disappointed if we don't at least come 2nd, because then that's an improvement. Coming 2nd is an improvement on last season. Otherwise, we just achieve what we did last season, and there's no improvement.
What about you, Brian? Is it second for you or bust? Do we have to massively improve for last season, or would like what I suggested, a League Cup and let's say finishing third, matching last season, be enough for you? Would it be a good start for you?
I mean, I think everybody wants to see progress, and and if I see us finishing third in a League Cup, I don't think we progressed. I think that we've kind of stayed the same right there. I mean, I know
Exactly.
that the wholesale changes of a management system and different techniques and all that we're playing, but if your goal is to keep on progressing further and all that, so yeah, I mean, I'd be content, I guess. I would be happy. I want more. I want us to win everything. Like I said earlier, right there. I mean, I want us to go there. I want us to win like all competitions that we're playing and all that. But if it happened right there that we finished in second and got the League Cup, then I'd be okay. But I think this year right there that the league is with the injury to Rodri, I think the league has now been opened up a lot, awful lot.
Yeah.
And I think that because if you looked at last year when Rodri played, they lost all the matches when Rodri was out last year. That's how important that he is to them. Yeah. And I think that Lego Head's squad right there is still hasn't proved anything to me. They haven't won anything. They're still that side. I mean, they're the other one, and with them not having Odegaard, that's a damage to them because another person that they depend on. So again, I think we have a lot of chances this year, and I don't really see the year you've had like these surprise squads and stuff like that through there. I don't see that this year. I don't see a surprise squad. I think if there's any person that's actually coming on pretty decent form is Chelsea. I mean, that's the only one I can see that's actually making waves at the moment, but I still think that they haven't pieced all themselves together. So I think that we have to definitely take advantage. And I think that again, league's on. The league is on.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll still be having the same conversations that we're having now come March, because I believe March was when things started to go slightly off the rails for us last year. I think the linchpin was that loss to United in the FA Cup. Then it all just went downhill from there. Any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we head out? Heading into Saturday's match against Wolves. Obviously, coming off of that Forest loss, we've responded quite well. 3-1 against Milan, 3-0 against Bournemouth, and now 5-1 against West Ham. So what are your thoughts? And I'll start with you, Serzi, heading into this weekend.
No, I mean, it's just positivity. Yeah, I mean, the Forest result still hurts, but we responded well. And thankfully, for once, the fixtures have been kind to us, where we didn't lose to Forest and we had to go play Arsenal or Spurs away, or City. So we can only beat the teams that are in front of us. Wolves, another potential banana skin. It's an away game, but these are the games we need to win. Going back to what I was saying and what Brian was echoing was that we didn't have any wholesale changes. If Scott had to come in and change like 5-6 players, and we came third and won a League Cup, it's a different conversation. But pretty much it's the same. It's the same staff. Change assistant Gravenberch. He's the shining light for the season. I know Diaz has been amazing, but Gravenberch has got a new position. He wouldn't have got that under Klopp and Linders. So that was excellent. And yeah, I'd be disappointed because of the start that we made. If we don't at least come second. League Cup, I really don't care for. If we win that, then I still want another trophy, and go as far into Champions League as we can get, because that's where we belong. We're not, we're not Arsenal, we're not Spurs. We are elite.
Yeah.
And the fact is that everyone in Europe fears Liverpool. No one wants to play Liverpool.
Absolutely.
They don't.
Absolutely.
Again, the Champions League, it's apart from Real Madrid, but is anyone else? Right. No one wants to play it. So and the reason why, because we rock up, and yeah, it's I'm a lot happier than I was 2 weeks ago. I suddenly like football again.
That's great. You should put that on your message when you come in. The one at the bottom is kind of like football again. Cody False9 is here. Welcome back, sir. Hey guys, what a win indeed. Brian, any final thoughts heading into our match against Wolves this weekend?
take advantage of our opportunities. That's the only thing I have right there. Wolves are struggling, take advantage. Then we have Bologna right there, who are struggling in Italy, take advantage. Then we have Crystal Palace right there before the international break, and struggling also, take advantage. There's no reason why we shouldn't come out here unscathed out there going into the international break and just hope for the best, that everybody stays fit during the international break and just keep on going again.
Cody's asking, "Where's your Guinness, Brian? Is it a bit too early in the day, or?"
Sadly, Cody, I'm off the drink for a while until I heal.
Well, hopefully you can be getting back to the Guinness soon, Brian. But gentlemen, it's been a pleasure again. Thank you for joining me during this post-match for what was surprising, well, not really surprisingly, what was thankfully a comfortable win in the League Cup. We're on to the next round. Cody is asking, heal from what? And if he's not aware, Brian just had a surgery, Cody, on his nose. So right now he's thankfully doing well, right, Brian? On the way to recovery.
Doing good.
Right, and certainly this result helps things progress a lot better. But if there's nothing else, gentlemen, I appreciate you guys joining me. For all those who are watching, please do like and subscribe. It goes a long way. We're at 919 now. And as Timuchin mentioned earlier in the Wednesday morning show, we're looking to get to that 1,000 mark. Well, the aggressive target is Halloween, but the realistic target is getting there by Thanksgiving. So we would appreciate all the support that you can get. But until then, we will see you guys, I think, tomorrow for the Thursday night. Yeah, for the Thursday night podcast. Join Maka and the boys there with our boy Brian there as well, and the Darwin Nunez fan club. So, gentlemen, I appreciate you, and we will see you guys soon. Take care.
Hey guys.